Hello everybody. Let me adjust you here a little bit. I'm going to just be focusing on the machine and some foiling today. I did do a video which shows different dyes that can be used in the foil press machine with some different foils. However, Crafter's Companion did reach out to me and they do not want anybody trying anything that's not recommended by them, and it would damage your machine or your Gemini, and at that point it would also void your warranty. So I don't want that to happen to any of my viewers, although I want to give you an honest review and opinion of the machine. I don't want you to do anything that would damage your machine. You're spending quite a bit of money on it, so I want to give you the correct information, and if something is dangerous or does not work, I want to let you know that as well. So we're just going to be focusing on other dyes today. I will tell you I am running out of the Crafter's Companion foil, which from my foil test I can tell you I do believe it's a far superior foil than the other companies. It takes less time to heat up and adheres pretty well, so I am very happy with their foil. The foil that I do have is the Multi Surface foil. I don't know if this is going to work on paper or not, so we're going to try it today just because, like I said, I am almost out of foil and I am waiting for the paper foil to arrive. So instead of using the ToDo or the Glimmer foil and waiting 45 seconds for it to heat up, we're going to see if these foils work just as well on paper. Alright, so I have machine turned on, power switch on the back here. Then you press this power switch. I have it on low. I have it on 10 seconds because that's what it would be according to the owner's manual here for a small die. 10 seconds on low. And I have a couple sheets of paper cut out. And I have the regular foil off to the side here. So, couple of questions you guys asked. Sorry, just getting all my plates organized here on the side. Someone asked, what is on my metal shim? My metal shim has washi tape around it. When I first got my Gemini, I got paper cuts from the metal shim. And so I have taken washi tape and wrapped my metal shims with washi tape. I find it to be very helpful. Also, it makes it a little easier for me to find it because I can now find this brightly colored tape on the pink one I've done. You will need a metal shim if you're going to be doing the stamp and cut dies because the machine only comes with one metal shim, this guy here. So you will need your Gemini metal shims for some of the things, some of the dies, depending on what you're going to do. The magnetic shim also comes in handy. Again, your original Gemini came with one. If you order a refill package, there are 2 magnetic shims in there. So you have those. So we're going to just start out with some hot foil dies that I have from Spellbinders, because as you guys know, Spellbinders has their own machine now. I believe it's called the Glimmer. And I will just show you guys that. There's a little piece of tape on the back of mine that I cannot get off, so I'm not going to worry about that. Alright, so we're going to put that down. I'm going to call this a medium-sized die. So according to our user's manual, medium-sized die on cardstock is 15 seconds. Now that's using the regular Crafter's Companion foil. I'm going to test this out with what little bit I have left here. I do have more foil coming. Don't worry, guys. I did order all of the foil. I ordered a lot of stuff from HSN, even though I wasn't planning on it. Okay, so, and then we're going to put our paper on there and our carbon fiber plate, And we are going to hit start and turn my Gemini on. And you guys will hear the Gemini running. I just didn't feel like putting it in view here because I think you guys get the idea of what's going on. And again, you should be using your hot gloves, but I just grabbed the handle here and the very end up here, and it's not hot there. Okay, let's see how this worked out. Very nicely. And again, that is a Spellbinder's die. Now there is a little bit of overfoiling there. So again, all you would do is just take an eraser and erase that overfoiling, and it shouldn't be a problem. So that's using the regular Crafter's Companion foil. I'm going to take this die off and let it cool down. Just use the magnetic part of the tweezers. Oh yeah, it has that little piece of tape in there. Gently pry that off. There we go. And put that on the non-stick pad to cool off. I'm going to try one of the Anna Griffin ones. You guys asked about that. So Anna Griffin, again, she has, or did have, the Go Press and Foil machine, which is Couture Creations. And I did get that from HSN as well. And I did get a number of dies to go with that machine. I got a set of Christmas ones, and then I have this happy birthday one and this foiled border one. So let's try this. And I don't know if my paper is large enough to go over that whole thing. Close enough. And I'm just going to put that happy birthday in the middle. And I'm just using the grid to make sure that I'm straight. I know you guys can't see it, but there are tiny little grid lines on there. Make sure everything's straight. I'm going to use that same gold foil. And in the multi-foil surface rolls, you do get 15 feet. I believe it's a little less in the starter pack. The ones that come in the machine, I don't think it's 15 feet. It's just probably a little less than that. And the glimmer foil is also 15 feet, and the ToDo foil is also 15 feet. Okay, so this is an issue I have, is not being able to see where I'm putting my paper. So I have to remember where I have it lined up by looking at the tick marks at the top there. Okay. Alright, so we're going to try 15 seconds with this. Although I would say this is probably a large, but it does, we'll try 15 seconds and see how that works. I wanted to show you guys the other dies, but I think I put them away already. I was cleaning up my desk today and foil and dies everywhere. And I'm pretty sure that I put those guys away. Alright, I'm going to run this through our little Gemini. And again, this is using the Anna Griffin or the Couture Creations dies. And again, very nicely foiled with only 15 seconds. You can see that the border came out very nicely, as well as the center sentiment. And I will be able to use a little bit of overfoiling right there, but again, I can erase that. Now, this is not a cut die. This is a stamp foil die only. And you can reuse this. Once I figure out how to reuse that, we will reuse it. I'm going to take these guys off. Actually, I'm going to leave the happy birthday on there. I want to try some of this multi-surface foil. let's see if this works on paper, because according to the manual, it states that this multi-surface foil works on leather and fabric. I'm wondering if it works on paper as well. I could get the box open. So we'll try a little piece of this. Because if this works, we can start using this until we get our paper foil. I'm going to assume that this paper has a little bit more of that adhesive built into it, so it sticks to those other surfaces. I can't get it open. So let's try the same timing on it. 15 seconds on low setting. I want to be careful about removing this, because if it didn't foil, I want to increase the time, or the time or the heat setting. Let's see here. Yeah, it did, but not completely, which is what I was afraid of, because I think this needs a little bit either more time or more temperature, because I think it has more glue in it. So I'm going to increase the time to 30 seconds. Let's see what that does. In the meantime, one of the experiments I did yesterday's video was taking this regular die from Crafter's Companion, this snowflake die, and I did the back side of it, so the non-cutting side, and I worked out all these sandwiches. And I did get it to work where it would foil the whole thing, but I would have to cut it out. And so then I just turned it back over and put it on my Gemini as a die. And you can see I was able to cut these out. So the first time I did it, I had to find the right sandwich and it just didn't foil correctly. But I eventually did get it to go out like this. But again, there is some overfoiling, but because this is a regular die, it's not a stamp and foil die, it's a regular die cutting die, I was able to cut it out. So the sandwich that I used there was the Gemini metal shim, the die, the foil, paper, and the magnetic shim, and then the carbon fiber plate. And so what actually happens is the die cuts into the metal plate. So it cuts in to here, the cut surface. And then running that through with the magnetic shim, with everything in between, the magnetic shim gave you the pressure to push that foil in without cutting through anything, because it's cutting on this metal plate here. So that seemed to work out. All right, let's run this guy through. There we go. So that answers that question. Yes, the multi-surface foils will work on paper. It's a little underfoiled there, but I think that's because I pulled it up the first time. So knowing that, we just need to keep it on a little longer. let's keep working with the multi-surface foil. I take this guy off, let him cool down. And again, the Spellbinders dies, the regular Crafter's Companion dies, the Anna Griffin dies or hot foil dies will all work. The only ones so far that I have not found to work because it is too thick are the ToDo dies. So I do not recommend using the ToDo dies. Again, it could destroy your machine, so I don't recommend that. Okay, so I have some other dies here. This one is a feather die. Honestly, guys, I don't know who makes it. I think it's from Elizabeth Craft Designs, and I have a little seahorse too that I want to try. But what I want to show you is these are regular dies that you have in your collection. These normally do your paper cutting, but today I want to see how they foil. And I think for the feather, and you'll notice I have it facing up. You don't want the cut side on your rubber mat there. And we're going to use some more of this multi-surface foil. And these come in a 4-pack. There's a 4-pack of brights and a 4-pack of metallic. So right now these colors are the brights. So I use the fuchsia. This is like a teal, a turquoise. There's a green and a red with that. Okay. So we don't want to cut. So we don't want to use a metal plate on this. We just want to foil. And all this is going to do is foil the lines. We want the colored side down. We want to put our sheet of paper on there. And we're going to do 30 seconds with this guy. And I'm going to cut another piece of foil because I want to do the seahorse, I think, in the same color. And these are regular cut dies. These are the dies you have in your collection. These are not foil and stamp dies. These are the dies that you've been using in your Gemini or your Cuttlebug or your Big Shot, whatever you got. And this is Gemini FoilPress Multi Surface Foil. 30 seconds, running it through the machine. And there you can see it foiled it beautifully. I hope the lighting's picking that up. Now, if I try to cut this out, it will cut it out, but it won't cut out anything that was foiled because where it's actually foiled are the cut lines. So we do not want to cut this out. We want to use it the way that it is. So we know that that works. And I'm going to take that one off. And we're going to try our little seahorse one. So I've tried Spellbinders. I've tried Anna Griffin. This is Elizabeth Craft Designs. Any of the ones that are made by sizzix, as long as the die is less than 1 millimeter, it's safe to go through the machine. You don't want anything thicker than 1 millimeter or it won't be safe to go through the machine. So I want to use some more of this turquoise. Again, we want the cutting side up, not cutting into our plate. We want the colored side down, the matte side up. We're going to put our paper in there. Because I'm using the multi-surface foil, I have it at low, 30 seconds. I'm going to run that through. Paper's crooked. Actually, let me demonstrate this a different way. For those of you that are saying, I don't like doing it that way because I can't see what's going on, just like with the Gemini. I don't cut with my Gemini this way. There is another way you can do this. The other way that you can do this, for those of you that want to see perfect placement, you can put your metal shim down, put your paper down, and in this case you want to put the foil side up, just as if you were running it through your Gemini the reverse way. because you want to see what's going on. Then you can put your die face down. The only reason now we can put our die face down is because we are putting it on the metal plate and it won't cut through the metal plate. So that's the only reason. If you forget this step, you will cut into your mat. So take that chance. Yes, you'll have perfect placement, but you have a chance of cutting into your mat if you don't put that metal shim in there. So this is the Gemini Junior metal shim. It's a little bit thinner, but it will protect your mat. So we can do it that way. Let's see how that one works out. And again, we're going to try with the same settings, low 30 seconds. But this will give you a better idea of placement on your paper. I know some of you were concerned about that, putting the dies upside down. I don't run them through my Gemini that way either. I usually turn them around and do them this way. It's personal preference. As long as you protect your plate, you should be fine. And then I have two other dies we're going to try here, and then you guys can see how it works with these. I don't really have any Spellbinders dies, but they should work fine. I just have that Spellbinder Congratulations die, which was a foil die. Oh, you know what? There we go. There you can see that that is foiled, and it did not cut through because there wasn't enough pressure pushing down on it to cut through. But I have good placement and I have good foiling. I wish you guys could see the shine. I know the camera's not picking it up. But basically what it did was it made my die into a stamp. Okay. All right. What I wanted to also demonstrate to you guys was using background dies. I'm going to take this off. So what I mean by background die is this is a, well, let me show you guys this. This is the tree die, and I've shown this one before as an example. So what I did was basically the same thing I just showed you guys, is I put the die in, I heat it up, I put the foil over it, and you can see it foils beautifully. But if I wanted thicker foiling, what you can do is use the backside. Now, if I use the backside of this tree, it'll come out okay, but it'll have these large splotches on the die. So I don't really want to use the backside of this die. I want to just use the intricate part of this die, which this is the Crafter's Companion Contemporary Tree die, and you can see it's pretty large. But for this other example, I wanted to show you guys using a background die. This is one that is from Stampin' Up. It's an older one, but I want to try foiling this backside here. So again, what we're going to do is we want to protect our surface because we do not want that to cut through. So we're going to put the cutting side down. Okay, and I'm just going to use regular foil on this one. And again, we want the colored side down. We're going to put our piece of paper on there, and we're going to put our plate over top. I'm sorry, magnetic shim. Magnetic shim first. And then our plate. Okay, let's try this one. Low 30 seconds. The metal plate is going to protect our machine from getting cut. The magnetic plate is going to give it a little bit more pressure so that it does that full overall design. So we'll see how this works. And I think for some reason when I did it yesterday, I had to do 45 seconds, and I think I did medium heat. And I'm using the thinner Gemini metal shim here. I'm not using the thicker one. And there it is. Really nice foiling. Now in this case, if you wanted to cut this one out, because we did the back side of it, you could cut this design out now. You could line this up and cut it out, and it'll literally cut out the foil design. It will cut that out for you, so it'll be nice and foiled. Now, I like how it even foiled where it says sizzix here. That's not a problem, because if you're using this as a background, you probably cover that up with a sentiment or a design or something. So it will take your regularly foiled designs as well. I wanted to try one more time with the background die because we couldn't get the transfer to work. So let's try that again. Here are the Anna Griffin ones I wanted to show you guys. So this one says Peace on Earth, Season's Greetings, Happy New Year, and Merry Christmas. And I'll show you some samples of those that I did. Just playing around with the different kind of foils. And here I have some beautiful Anna Griffin ones that would make some beautiful foil designs. As long as you don't use the cutting side, you just make sure you put that metal shim underneath there. Trying to see if I have any other background. I don't really have too many background dies. I guess here's a Spellbinders one, so we can try this one too. So let me just grab 2 more sheets of paper. Okay, so following the directions, this is considered a large design. So according to the manual, for large foil stamp dies on paper, it says low 30 seconds. Because we're using, I'm going to use the multi surface foil, I'm going to increase the time up to 45. Just giving it 15 extra seconds to heat up. I'm going to, let's see here, what beautiful color do we want to use? Let's try, well, it's Christmas, so let's try this red out. And then we'll also try to see if we can pull the negative off of this print as well. Okay, so we have our die down. Again, we have it on low setting. We're going to try 45 seconds because we're using the multi-surface foil, and it seems to take a little bit longer in terms of time. And then I just have a piece of paper here, and I'm just using regular Nina Solar White paper, the same paper I use for making my cards. Okay. And our cover plate. All right, and now we're going to start the timer. I've noticed by putting everything on there and then starting the timer, it seems to adhere a little better. You'll have to get into your own groove and see what works for you. You could get over foiling by having it on there too long or getting too hot. So just be careful of that. And I did get some foil on my magnetic plate here. That's not going to hurt anything. This Spellbinder's background die, so we'll try this one too with the same method. And then you can make a bunch of backgrounds, and when you need a quick background, you can throw together a card once they're all done. Okay, so we're going to run this through the Gemini Junior. see how that did. And again, this is the Crafter's Companion background die. We're using multi-surface foil in berry. We did 45 seconds, which was not long enough. You can see it's underfoiled. Let me see if I can do that again. And I'm going to change my sandwich up. So, since I already have this done, and I've done this before where I've refoiled it, as long as you can line everything back up. So, we're going to put our paper and our foil back down. Since this is not a cutting die, we should be okay here. We just need to line up our design. How did this go? That is the question. Okay. And a lot of times you can kind of feel where it goes. Now this is probably a poor example of that, but with the other ones you can feel it. All right, so we're gonna do 1 minute. Let that heat up. I'm gonna cut a piece of the screen foil for the Spellbinders one while we're waiting. And again, I think it's just taking longer because this is the multi-surface foil. So if you're going to be using the multi-surface foil on paper versus regular paper, kind of have to treat it like the other companies out there. You got to treat it like the ToDo, the Spellbinders. They take longer, and they have been usually 45 seconds on medium heat to get them to adhere properly. So just remember that. And then I would just make a little note and put it on there on the boxes or something, you know, longer time. So that way you don't forget when you're using that foil. The paper foil adheres quickly. It does not take long at all in the paper foil, but the multi-surface foil seems to take a little longer. And I just moved it. Oh, man. I felt the plate move and I saw that move, so we'll see if it, maybe it'll double foil. Yeah, I can see it moved. It double foiled it. That's all right. For today's example, it's fine. It does look like we still had an issue in that center area there. So have to figure out our timing and heat on that. Probably need to go to medium heat on that. Let's try the Spellbinders one. It's a little smaller and see how it goes. Again, we're going to do that face up. I'm going to put our foil on there. I'm using the green multi-surface foil on there. And I'm going to leave that at 1 minute and see how that does. I think because this is such a large surface area, I probably should have turned the heat up a little bit or the timer up a little bit more on that. Works beautifully with the regular paper though, with the regular foil, I mean. Then we'll try to do a transfer and we will be done with using the other dies and the multi-surface foil for tonight. The multi-surface foil is designed to be used for the mixed media artists, so it'll be interesting to see what you guys make with that. I don't really do a lot of mixed media. I just do like scrapbooks and cards and things, so it'll be interesting to see what comes out in the market with what you guys make. So this is just a regular Spellbinders die, and it did not foil enough. All right, I'm going to turn the heat up just a notch. I'm going to go to medium. It's red. I'm going to turn the time on 30 seconds. I found when I was using the other foils yesterday, if I went to the medium heat, and around 45 seconds was the sweet spot for those foils, the ToDo, the Spellbinder, and the Couture foils. Medium, 45 seconds seem to work pretty well with those guys. All right, so this is telling me it's ready on medium heat, so now we're going to hit 30 seconds. I have a feeling because this foil has more adhesive in it, so that it sticks to those other multi-surface items, that's probably why it needs a little bit more heat and time to get that adhesive going, activated. Oh yeah, way better. Look at that. Way better. And that's using a regular Spellbinder's die. So that's a normal cutting die. It's not a foil stamp die. It's just a regular die. Then I did the cutting side up. Oh my God, I wish you guys could see how bright that green is and how it shimmers. The camera is just not picking it up. There we get a little glimpse of it. Very nice. I'm going to go back to that cover plate. Let's try that again. I'm going to leave it at medium. 30 seconds. I'll put our cover plate on there. Let me grab another piece of paper here. And I'm going to open up, let's do this holographic foil. This is very similar to the ToDo foil I used yesterday. This one has extra tape on it. I need to put a new blade in my X-Acto knife. Okay. This is called Aurora, and this came out of the Metallics pack, which has Aurora, gold, silver, and it looks like rose gold. Yes. So that's the metallic pack. The first pack I was using was called the Brights. Okay, so again, we want the colored side down. Ignore that part where the tape is. I don't know if it'll foil or not, but they had extra tape on that side. But that's okay. We'll work with what we got. Someone asked me what the temperature was in the 3 settings. I do not know. We'll have to ask Crafter's Companion that. That is not in the instruction manual. Okay, so we're going to do 30 seconds on medium. Multi-surface foil in Aurora, medium heat, 30 seconds. Oh, wow. Look at how beautiful that is. Look at that. Really nice. So, multi-surface foils do work on paper. You just got to change your timing and your heat temperature. That is so pretty. Very holographic looking. Come on. Alright, now I want to do the waist. I want to try to transfer this. I was having a problem with this the other day. Somebody suggested using the, what do you call it? Magnetic plate. So let's do that. We're going to take this guy off and let him cool down. He is a little warm. Okay, so we're going to set him aside. Alright, so we're going to put down regular piece of paper. We're going to put down the waste, or the excess foil, the negative piece of the foil, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to do the magnetic shim. And then I think we're good there. And then the regular carbon fiber plate. That should be thick enough and give it enough pressure. So 30 seconds on medium again, because of the type of foil we're using. At the end of these videos, guys, there's like dyes and foil and paper everywhere. It's a huge mess. It is a little less messy using, say, the mink, but the mink doesn't give you the details that this does. I can't get over how cool that is. Alright, so let's try this. Foiling the waist. Okay. Take off our carbon fiber plate. Take off our magnetic plate. That did not foil. I can see it from here. We need a little more pressure. I'm going to put the thin metal plate on there. I'm going to try this again. I believe it's warm enough. I'm just going to run it through. I think it just needs one more shim on there. Nope, it won't take it. Okay, so that's not going to work. So we need to think of another way to make our sandwich here. So it will not take it with the extra shim. So we have the paper down. We have the foil down. We have our magnetic plate on there. I can tell you it is warm enough. It is very warm. I'm just wondering how we can get enough pressure. We don't want to do that because we don't want our plate exposed. Maybe just another piece of paper. Let me try that. Maybe we need 2 paper shims. I'm going to reuse this piece of paper. I'm just going to put it down right there. So maybe just one more piece of paper will work. Let's try that. I think maybe it cooled down when I had it unplugged there. Let me just lift and take a peek here. Yeah, it looks like it wanted to. So we're going to try this again. Alright, so we have medium, 30 seconds, hit start. We have our piece of paper down. We have the foil colored side up because we want it to stick on the paper. We have the magnetic shim, and then we have another piece of paper, and then our carbon fiber plate. So this should give us enough heat, hopefully, and enough pressure to transfer over the waist. I was able to get the waist to transfer the first time I did it, but I really had a thick sandwich on there, and I think it was almost too thick. We don't want to make our sandwich too thick and mess up our machine. see if this works. This is our shim, which is stuck to our magnetic sheet. Our magnetic plate. Okay, here's our paper. Did it work? Kinda. I think it could have been a little better. It's not bad. The very center of it definitely got all the heat. So it did work. We gotta fine tune that a little bit. All right, so those are my samples for today, guys. So again, the point was to show you different kinds of dyes you could use. So the dyes that we were able to use today were obviously the background dye. And then we just need to work on our sandwich here with doing the excess. So 30 seconds on medium. And this is multi surface foil. And our shim was paper, foil. I would probably do paper again. And then magnetic sheet and carbon fiber plate. So that would be my sandwich on that. I have a feeling this is going to work much better with just the regular paper foil. I think that the multi-surface foil just took a little longer to heat up, but this turned out beautifully. Okay, and then we did the Anna Griffin die. So this is Anna Griffin with the regular foil. This is Anna Griffin with the multi-surface foil. So they came out beautifully. We did Elizabeth Craft Designs dies. These are regular cutting dies, and again, worked out fine using the multi-surface foil. We did the background of a die. So this is a regular cutting die in which we flipped over and did the back side of it. And a Spellbinder's die. And of course the Crafter's Companion tree die. So yes, to answer the question, all different dies will work. Now someone did say, will these dies work in other cutting systems or other foiling systems? Yes. Again, I do have the Couture one. I haven't tried it yet, but these dies are just like other dies that are out there, so I don't see why these wouldn't work in the Anna Griffin or the ToDo machine if you have that. So that is today's lesson on other dies. Again, the only dies that would not work would be the ToDo dies, which is not recommended by Crafter's Companion or myself. You don't want to mess up your machine and void your warranty. If you have any questions or comments, post them down below. If you like this video, I do appreciate the thumbs up so I know to keep making them for you. Once again, Crafter's Companion did provide the machine for me to try out to give you guys my honest review. And so far I'm having some fun with it. And thanks for watching, guys. And as always, keep on stamping. Bye.